Imagine you are a traveler in an infinite library. Each book represents a single day of your life, meticulously recorded with every thought, memory, and emotion. As you wander the endless shelves, you notice that some books glow faintly while others are dim. The glowing ones contain experiences that defined your character, moments that shaped your values, and lessons that shifted your perspective. One day, the librarian, a mysterious figure embodying wisdom, approaches you and explains, "This library is your life's archive, a reflection of your journey. At the end of each day, your brain sends the key pages here, selecting what matters most." But the purpose of this library is not just preservation, it is also integration. The librarian opens a glowing book, and you find yourself reliving a pivotal moment, a choice that changed your path. You realize that by understanding these moments, you can weave them into a coherent narrative, preparing you for the next phase of existence. Now consider, what if this library is not just personal but interconnected with the archives of all other beings? Could this shared repository form a universal consciousness, a collective wisdom, or even the mind of the Creator? And if so, is our purpose not just to live but to contribute to this eternal archive, ensuring that our experiences add to the fabric of existence itself? Imagine the brain as the hardware of a computer and our consciousness as its operating system. Just as a computer processes and stores information, the brain collects and organizes the vast array of experiences we encounter daily. However, like a computer with limited storage, the brain cannot retain every detail forever. It must prioritize, transferring essential memories to a server and clearing space for new data. This process could explain why some memories fade or are selectively consolidated during sleep, as neuroscientific studies on memory consolidation suggest. But where are these memories stored? Could there be an external repository, a universal consciousness, a spiritual server, or a connection to the Creator? Some propose that our consciousness is a fragment of a larger, interconnected system, capable of archiving our experiences beyond the physical brain. This theory resonates with accounts of near-death experiences, where individuals report a rapid playback of their entire lives, seeing their lives flash before their eyes. If these memories are indeed preserved elsewhere, they may serve a purpose: to review, integrate, and understand the lessons of a lifetime before moving forward to a new chapter, whether spiritual or metaphysical. Imagine this. Each night, as we close our eyes and drift into unconsciousness, we aren't merely resting but disappearing. What if sleep represents a nightly cessation of self, a reset button on our identity? During sleep, particularly in its deepest stages, the brain ceases its maintenance of conscious awareness. We lose our grip on reality, memory, and time. And then, as morning breaks, we awaken with the unshakable belief that we are the same person who fell asleep. But is this belief justified? In deep sleep, the brain enters a state of profound disconnection. Unlike REM sleep, where dreams provide some semblance of continuity, deep sleep is a void. Neural activity decreases significantly, particularly in areas like the prefrontal cortex, responsible for maintaining a sense of self. Studies show that memory consolidation during sleep is selective and incomplete. The memories we use to reconstruct our waking selves are fragments, often distorted or incomplete. This raises a troubling question. If the me of today is pieced together from imperfect fragments, can we truly claim to be the same person? Neuroscientific studies on integrated information theory support the notion that consciousness is entirely dependent on the brain's activity. When that activity pauses, as it does in deep sleep, the continuity of the self also halts. Pain provides an intriguing example of continuity. Imagine cutting your thumb while cooking. The injury remains a constant reminder of the body's persistence. You sleep, yet the pain resumes upon waking, grounding you in a sense of sameness. However, over longer periods, this continuity begins to unravel. Look back a decade, and it's clear you are not the same person. Your desires, habits, and even your biology have shifted. This dichotomy, short-term consistency versus long-term transformation, suggests that identity is a convenient narrative rather than an absolute truth. On one hand, we experience the persistence of self through memory and sensation. On the other, The reality of cellular regeneration and mental evolution points to a fluid, ever-changing identity. Every 7 years, the cells in your brain are almost entirely replaced, much like a ship undergoing constant repairs. At each milestone, 7, 14, 21, you emerge as a new version of yourself. Cognitive and emotional shifts mark these transitions, echoing a kind of rebirth. Yet, despite these profound changes, we cling to an illusion of continuity. This paradox is best understood through Thomas Metzinger's theory of the self as a construct. Our identity is less an immutable core and more a narrative created by the brain to anchor us in the world. Sleep, particularly its deepest stages, disrupts this construct, forcing the brain to rebuild it each morning. Consider a thought experiment. You're placed in a dark, timeless room. You sleep, and during this time, your brain ceases to maintain the threads of identity. Upon waking, you believe you are the same person. But without external reference points or memory continuity, how can you be certain? This mirrors the experience of deep sleep, where the brain operates in a state of neural silence. Research on state-dependent amnesia supports this, showing that transitions into and out of sleep affect the encoding and retrieval of memories. The self, it seems, is a fleeting construct, a simulation created anew with each awakening. Some theories extend beyond neuroscience into metaphysics, suggesting that during sleep, consciousness ventures into other realms. Astral projection, for instance, posits that the mind interacts with dimensions beyond the physical. While unproven, these ideas highlight the mystery of what occurs when the conscious self is offline. Dreams, too, offer a glimpse into this ambiguity. Activation synthesis theory describes dreams as the brain's attempt to impose meaning on random neural activity. This aligns with the idea that our waking identity is a carefully reconstructed narrative, shaped by both physical and subconscious experiences. This leads to profound implications for accountability and morality. If the you of today is a reconstruction, what happens to the choices made by past iterations of yourself? Perhaps this is why we humorously blame our past selves for procrastination or poor decisions. The me of yesterday becomes an antagonistic stranger, burdening the me of today. Metaphysically, the idea of nightly identity dissolution suggests we live multiple lives within a single existence. This challenges the concept of an immutable self, replacing it with a fluid, evolving narrative. The search for a stable identity may be futile. What matters is the story we tell ourselves to maintain coherence. The interplay of memory, consciousness, and identity is a profound mystery, one that bridges science, philosophy, and spirituality. Whether we see the brain as a biological processor, consciousness as software, or our lives as entries in a universal archive, one thing remains clear. We are more than the sum of our parts. Each day, we awaken as a new iteration of ourselves, shaped by the memories stored and the lessons integrated. Sleep, far from being mere rest, may be the stage where this transformation unfolds, a nightly reboot that allows us to grow, evolve, and prepare for the next chapter. If there is a greater design, a creator, a universal consciousness, or some collective reservoir of wisdom, our experiences and memories may serve a purpose far beyond what we perceive. Perhaps we are not just living individual lives but contributing to a greater whole, like notes in a symphony that transcend the limits of time and space. At the end of our journey, when we face the final archive of our lives, it may not be a reckoning but a reunion, a moment where all fragments of our being coalesce into a greater understanding. The self, no longer divided by days or chapters, becomes a complete narrative, ready to step into whatever lies beyond. And so, as we lay down to sleep each night, we might consider this. We are not just resting. We are participating in a cycle of renewal, growth, and connection to something much larger than ourselves. Perhaps the greatest mystery of all is not whether we continue to exist, but how our existence contributes to the infinite tapestry of being.